Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Moto. And after time behind the wheels of the Honda Talon, the Can-Am Maverick, and the Polaris RZR, we're finally getting some seat time with the Kawasaki Teryx. This is the KRX4 1000 ES. And yes, I know that is a mouthful, but what you need to know, this was Kawasaki's class leading, or not class leading, but model leading, lineup leading, I should say, Teryx model. And they have more pedestrian side-by-sides. They've got the Ridge and the Mule, and then this is their sport lineup, the Teryx. And the KRX4 is the four-seater of their 1000cc parallel twin model. Now they have the H2, which makes 250 horsepower out of a supercharged engine. That one's going to be absolutely bonkers. But if you don't want to spend boku money on a Kawasaki side-by-side, but you still want an incredibly capable shock package and a little bit of chutzpah, this is what you get right here, the KRX4 1000. Now ES means we do get the Fox live valve shocks, and we get a few other goodies inside the cabin as well. Now, Kawasaki was nice enough to give us a spare tire, but you can see how much space you get back here for cargo. Big ol' knobbers on here. This ES model, not quite as wide as some of the other side-by-sides that we're out here with. Over there we got the Can-Am Maverick and the Honda Talon 1000R. So those are both made for ripping the dunes. This one, could definitely do some duning, but it's a good all-around usable model as well. Obviously, you get 4 seats if you want to take more people out with you. And it's a nice place to be back here. Got a good grab bar, good comfortable seats, seat belts, cup holders, spot for some things. And then you come on into the front. Open it up. You've got your light controls, you've got your 4-wheel drive controls, you've got different shock damping controls, soft, normal, and firm. And we could get an optional screen in here, I imagine. Interestingly, no park for the shifter, just high, low, neutral, and reverse. So you take the parking brake off, back it up here, and let's begin. Now, from all our motorcycling, definitely recognize this gauge cluster. Very Kawasaki-y. Oh, no nets. That's interesting. I don't know how to feel about that. I guess the Maverick didn't have nets either.
Door will close. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. See, this is why you buy Japanese. Did you try slamming it?
Yes.
Huh. That's unfortunate.
Yep.
Now that we've mended the Can-Am, something you have to do if you're going to own one of those. Let's go test out the Teryx KRX. Ooh, okay, it's a nice soft suspension. We do have a CVT on here compared to the sequential transmission and dual clutch that we were working with on the other side-by-sides. But sometimes that just makes for nice smooth power. But unfortunately, it also just makes it so, as you can see right here, I was running 6,000 RPM at 27 miles per hour. It is a bit of a ruckus. Can we go over here? This looks cool. Oh, that's steep though. Okay, suspension. Ooh, suspension monitor. That's cool. So if we switch this up to firm, ooh, 9. All right, okay, that's cool. Oh, power is in L. There we go, full power. I was in low power. Oh, there we are. Yeah, that's better. This thing's no slouch. Sorry guys, It's a bit raw first impressions. We've been shooting a lot in just essentially one main day of filming. Oh man, there we go. We're getting somewhere. Whee! How's it gonna do on these rougher bumps? Oh my, that's fantastic. That's soaking those up great. Let's try firm. It just really starts to peter out. Some rocks. Okay. Yeah, Kawasaki needed that H2 model. That is for sure. It's kind of weird that they have this model that makes 110 horsepower, which, don't get me wrong, totally fine for ripping through private land or the mountain trails or something like that, the woods. But if you get out here into the desert, you just need more. And so, I mean, I guess it makes sense that they went whole hog with a supercharged motor and pumping out 250 horse and everything, but it is a bit strange not to have a little bit more of an in-between. Done myself a bit of a disservice here. I'm gonna get back out here tomorrow morning for a little quick sunrise romp with the KRX, because I'm actually really quite impressed. And I don't think it does this machine justice to kind of shoehorn it in at the end of the day. I've been doing a lot out here, and I want to get a nice clean rapid take on this, because so far, yeah, the engine isn't ripping me to the back of my seat, but if you carry speed, the suspension is just fantastic. And I would go as far as to say, I think I like it better than the Can-Am. So the sun has gone down on our big day of riding here. Let's hop to the morning, some fresh thoughts, some final thoughts here with the KRX. KRX? Yeah, KRX. So today we're gonna go for a little ride. I've already been riding a little bit, so I'm gonna drop some of the footage from last night out at the dunes with this as well. But I wanted to give you some of my fresh and bright and cheery impressions on this blue rig. Now, we have been out here at Razor VRA for the past few days testing a number of off-road machines, including this Can-Am Maverick R Max XRS and the Honda Talon Turbo, which has just recently departed. I've got Chris from the Topher out here with us, and we also had Miles from Miles Per Hour, also the Mercedes G63, Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro, and Ford Raptor R. And we wanted 3 side-by-sides to be able to go out and all run around together. And we've been able to communicate all with each other because we're all wearing Cardo PackTalk Edge ORVs in all of our helmets. These little units make it so that we can tell each other where we're going, kind of let each other know what we're doing, or just have a good time chit-chatting while we're out here either riding the same rig or others, because they use their patented DMC technology to communicate. It's not Bluetooth, it goes a lot further, so even when we're out here in this big outstretched area, we're able to chat with these Cardos. They even have these little Cardo headsets that you can get if you're riding around in an area that you don't need to wear a helmet and you still want to be able to communicate. You can wear these, or say for example you got somebody on ground doing video or something like that and somebody else is riding one of these machines, you can communicate with them there. I use Cardos regularly for my on-street motorcycling and off-road. When we did a little trip with the Honda CRF 300s, we were all wearing Cardos so we could chit-chat with each other riding around Ocotillo Wells. So I'm a big Cardo fan. If you spend time on-road or off-road in a helmet with people you want to chat with, I highly recommend checking out their products with the link below. You can give us a little bit of cash if you use our affiliate link and help support the channel. So big shout out to Cardo. All right, we have teleported into the cabin here on the Teryx, and you see a pretty straightforward layout. Now, I'm not sure if Kawasaki gives you the option to have a big center screen, but they've chosen to make everything right up here in front of you. And it's actually kind of a nice layout. You see which power mode you're in, you got full and low, which gear you're in, HL, neutral, or reverse, high and low right there for gearboxes. You have your electronic controlled suspension right there. If I'm in soft, then you see these live valves go down to 1 or 2. If I go up to firm, they're all the way up to 8 or 9. And then normal kind of right there in the middle around 5. I found normal to be a pretty wide range usable suspension, especially for this power level that we're working with. Your 2-wheel drive, your 4-wheel drive, and a locker. And then you control this screen in front of you with these buttons here, which at first I thought that's kind of weird, but I actually kind of get it when you're riding around to be able to just mash these big buttons. Kind of makes sense. So if we go return, you can see some of our different modes here. You can do audio, you can pair up your device and do Bluetooth. If we select meter, then you just get a nice big speed tachometer. CVT temp, that's actually kind of nice. If you're running your CVT hard, then maybe you don't want to blow a belt. You might want to take it easy a little bit. Go back. Suspension monitor, that's what I was on earlier. I think that's kind of cool. Vehicle information. There's your, this only has 143 miles on it. A bunch of different data right there, and then a settings screen. So let's go back to suspension monitor. I kind of like having that there. And it still does give you your speed up top. And this has a CVT, continuously variable transmission. So yeah, RPM to me really isn't all that important because it's essentially just loud. It's kind of the one mode you get on this thing. Bringing it to life. Just a tilt steering wheel here for the adjustment. You do have this low power mode, so if you have someone who's maybe not super familiar with driving one of these side-by-sides, it really takes the edge off the throttle input. So I'm pushing the accelerator maybe a quarter of the way down now, and we're barely moving. And if I mat it, I mean, it gets going, but definitely not very aggressively. So if you have younger children that you want to let ride this around, your property or campsite or something like that, or just somebody who hasn't really ridden much before, having that L button is really nifty to have. Now, all it takes is one flip, and then we're back into full, and then this wakes right up. Now, when we came out here with these 3 different side-by-sides, I initially thought the Kawasaki is going to get entirely outclassed out here. We've got a Can-Am Maverick, which is absolutely fantastic with suspension and 240 horsepower out of a turbo inline 3, sequential transmission. It's going to be a no contest. And then you have the Talon Turbo, which has its own merits. And I thought, well, the Kawasaki is just going to be the lame duck out here. But so far, I've actually been pretty charmed by its comfort and sort of ease of use ability. And if you've never ridden a side-by-side, that's one of the best things about them, is just how capable and comfortable they are. So you gotta think right now, you know, I'm by myself, I'm out with my buddies, but if I wanted my wife and kids to be in the passenger seat with me here, they'd be super comfortable. And it's very easy to steer, very easy to control and ride. And again, these live valve shocks in this application are less about ripping off podium level lap times and more about just being nice on trail. This is Sunday morning. We've been out here for 2 days now. And I'm just kind of, you know, I'm waking up. I'm not ripping this thing at 10 tenths. I'm just kind of enjoying the landscape, enjoying some fresh air on me. I'm just riding, just cruising. And in fact, I'm gonna switch down into soft suspension and see how it does with this. These are some bigger bumps. And I can kind of see what number these live valves are working at. Live valves do make a really interesting harsh sound though when they really have to absorb quickly. I thought it was just something that happened with the Polaris RZR that we were on, but I've experienced it now on this and the Can-Am Maverick, so there's just something about little valves that are opening or closing or something with the live valves that make that sharp noise. Now I will say there is a bit of a downside to having that CVT, even not even from a performance standpoint, but just kind of this low speed cruising. I mean, I'm doing 23 miles per hour, and if we go back, can I not change screens while I'm driving? I guess I can't change screens while I'm driving, so I don't know what RPM we're at. All I know is it's high. And it's kind of just the nature of a CVT on these sportier models, is they just have to stay in the power band, and it just means that the engine's loud. Loud and a consistent loud. All right, full throttle. So I'm using all of the 110 horsepower right now to get up this hill, but there we are. Look at that view. Isn't that cool? Especially if you live in an area like the southwest here. There's so many cool things to just go experience. And if you spend big money on an off-road truck or something like that, you can make it up to things like this. But you're gonna spend a lot less money and be more comfortable being a side-by-side. So this is RZR VRA here in front of us, Vehicle Recreation Area, and you can see that entire expanse. It's pretty darn cool. Our campsite is somewhere over there. There's no way I could even point it out to you, but we've been all the way to the other side, some of those dunes. Some of the footage you'll see here in this video is from out that way. But yeah, it's kind of a catch-22 with some of these side-by-sides, because they're amazingly capable from a suspension standpoint, so they soak up these big bumps so well. However, they also make all of these big bumps. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy issue in a way, because you need the robust suspension in order to make up for the big bumps that these side-by-sides leave. So I do have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with side-by-sides. If you're someone who rides quads or dirt bikes or does vehicle off-roading, I'm sure there's a bit of a disdain towards side-by-sides because they kind of tear up all the trails and make them their own. But there's also kind of a cool appreciation for how capable they are in the suspension technology and everything. So, two sides to each coin, I suppose. But if you do choose to participate in this activity, it's an awesome way to bring you and friends or loved ones on these adventures, or just yourself. You know, you can bring gear, you can bring snacks, you can go out and just experience the earth. Like I said near the beginning, I have been pleasantly surprised and proven wrong about the KRX. To me, I thought this was a bit of a dead-in-the-water sort of side-by-side option. It's like, why would we want this when the H2 exists? However, especially after spending time with that big high-horsepower Can-Am Maverick that's leaving this big dust trail in front of us, I can tell you that the high horsepower, pretty much once you get above about 160, 170 or so, or once you get above speeds around 60, it's more thrilling, yes, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily more fun. I've had a ton of fun in this one. In fact, in a way, I've had more fun because the ride has been comfortable, the ergos have been good. It's just been a kind of a golden retriever machine. And when I'm going out for a weekend and spending time out on the trail, that's what I want. I just want a machine that's happy to be here, happy to have fun and be thrown around, and also be easy and comfortable to live with. That's what the KRX 1000 is offering. And to me, it doesn't matter if it's this or a Talon or whatever, it's worth spending the extra money to get the Fox Live valves. These shocks are so impressive. They're the best in the business. Why wouldn't you take a little bit of extra cash and get these for yourself? Now, I'm not going to say that this is by any means an affordable toy. I mean, it is still a toy, and it still costs more than some cars. But compared to the money that you can spend on some things these days, I'm really happy with this one. I am. I'm sure the big H2 is a hoot, holler, and a half. But if I were just going to go out and get a machine to ride on the weekends and be able to bring to a dealership and everything, and nearby, and not have to deal with a kind of a weirder dealership or something like that. Kawasaki dealerships are usually very easy and accessible. It's a great option. It really is. So thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the KRX4 1000EX, check the link below. We've got a little No Talking Winding Road video. Big shout out to Cardo for facilitating this weekend and letting us chit-chat while we're riding. Check the link below if you want to buy yourself any sort of Cardo unit. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Moto, and as always, ride on.